Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from DeltaCX.com. We're a full service CX and UX agency, and welcome to Tuesday Office Hours Ask Me Anything. It is March 2nd, 2021, and you are welcome to ask questions in the chat rooms. I'm monitoring LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube, and you can also ask anonymously at deltacx.link/ask. I am monitoring that as well. Let's make sure I've got that window open, and I do. Hi Denise, welcome everybody. And I do have two questions that came in ahead of time. So as soon as I get all of my windows cooking, I will start on those two questions. But if you have questions, get them in now because it is first come, first served. I'm going to answer everything in order. And I usually only stay here an hour. And we're coming to the point where it's hard for me to get all the questions answered in an hour. So let's go back to all my windows. Okay, I think I've got everything set up. Thanks to everybody for your patience. One woman show. All right, let's jump right in with the questions as everybody joins in. Also, did Twitch get a notification that we're live? I haven't seen that come through. Twitchers, are we live? Kayleen, yes. Okay. Boyfriend says yes. Shannon says yes. Kayleen says dog. And Cheetos or Doritos. I don't know what those are. All right. So let's start with the questions. And by the way, quick note, I've added a little widget here. We've got 5 Twitch subscribers and my goal is 15. So it doesn't have to happen during this stream, just my goal in general. And it might be fun to watch that. If you are a subscriber and you you put emotes in Twitch, they should float over my face. So it's getting a little more interactive. I'm working on it. I don't have it perfect yet. That's why the cat just went by, because my boyfriend put a cat emoji in Twitch. So starting with these questions, someone wrote, how do you analyze and synthesize user research with other people? My designers really want to get involved in the process, but I often work better when I can get my head down into the data, transcripts, and video and do the work myself. Any tips on getting better at making this more collaborative? So first of all, I think if that's the way that you work, let's try to be true to that. I'm not going to say, oh, start holding workshops, start getting everybody together and things like that. Sorry, not all of the emojis are working. I'm working on it. So I think that if we want to stay true to your working style, then what might make sense is if other people want to get involved in synthesizing and analyzing the research data, then maybe have them watch the videos either as a group or on their own time, have them make their own notes, and then perhaps they can add some of their notes or work with them on checking if any of their notes are any good, check that they are true to what happened in the research and not just seeing things through their glasses or imagining things or misinterpreting things. So I would say, let them maybe make their own notes from the research and then maybe pull people together or collect their notes so that it can be included in your research stuff. There's only so collaborative I tend to be with these things. I think it's great to get other people's notes on the research in case they notice something we didn't notice. And sometimes I work with them ahead of time on the discussion guide just to see if there's any questions I missed that other people are like, oh yeah, we're really hoping that you find out this thing. So again, I don't need their approval on this, but I do sometimes collaborate on that. I think that's probably a good way to do it, is to give people the videos or the transcripts and see what notes they come up with and see if they come up with insights or other things that you missed. If you want to get them involved with affinity mapping, up to you. You can see if they notice a pattern that you didn't notice. Hopefully you're surrounded by good people who have some good ideas, and they'll take you to the next level and in a good place. So, oh, thank you, Chang, for cheering bits. I still haven't gotten that to pop up. I'm still working on that, but thank you for the bits, my very first bits, everybody, on Twitch. So thank you for that. And let's see, I will reload this and see if it will start popping up some of the things. So let's see, we've got a question in the Twitch room. I'm going to add it to the bottom here. And if the person is watching live who asked that one, if you have a follow-up question you want to ask, or anybody has a follow-up, you're allowed to ask a follow-up to someone else's question. So keep the questions coming. All right, so let's flip back and let's see where we are. And Manish has a question, and I will add that to the list as well. You are question 4, and I'm still up to question 2. We will get there, and thanks to Ekening for being here. So question 2 came in anonymously earlier, and it said, I've been with my current company as a UX designer for 4 years, and I have a strong feeling that I won't be able to learn anything new significantly staying here, as there are no senior designers to learn from. I'm stressed over that. As time goes by, my skills and experience won't grow proportionally. Any advice for a situation like this? Already start looking for new jobs. I'm not sure I would run from this experience just yet, because if there are no seniors there, it would be great if you were that next senior, because that would give you the opportunity to teach the people who are in your position, the people who come in with 2 years and say, nobody here is going to help me. I would say, if you can stay, if you like it and you can stay long enough to be that senior, then work with your boss and management to make sure that you're allocated, hopefully at least 20% of your time, maybe more, to helping the lower level and newer people. Otherwise, if everyone keeps leaving when they're there 4 years, who's going to be the seniors and who's going to lead other people? So number 1, I would say, unless the job is a total nightmare, maybe think about staying and become that senior. Number 2, as for how to continue growing and learning, that doesn't always happen at work. It's another reason why I recommend to everybody that they get coaches and mentors, so that you can go to that person and say, I wish I knew more about this thing. Where do I even start? Or I've always been a designer and I wish I were a little bit better with research, or whatever the case may be. Since I don't know how you want to grow, I can't say for sure what your path should be. I can only say that starting with a mentor or coach, an expert can take a look at what might be some of your weaknesses or the direction you want to go and help you go in that direction. Because as I've noticed, a lot of times companies do not offer mentoring and coaching, at least that are specific to our careers. They might have a career coach in general, but not who necessarily knows UX. So I would say look at getting a coach or a mentor who can work with you and see where you are and where you want to go. Hopefully that helps. Chang is sending more bits and they're not popping up on my screen. I am so sorry. I have to fix my my overlay. I've been playing with the overlay, I think, for 2 days straight, and sometimes it shows stuff and sometimes it doesn't. I will have to work on that. So let's see. We've got Denise's question, who I will add to the bottom of the list. Thank you, Denise. And we have a new question from Ashu, and I will add that to the bottom of the list. Let's see, and let me open up a couple of other things on my screen just in case something is going right in Twitch land. I'm sorry I don't have my overlays working just yet. They are being a little bit grumbly. And Anita is here. So Anita will add your question to the bottom of the list. Also, you'll be after Ashu, whose question you can see because it's right before yours. All right, let's go up to our question from, and let's see if I can put it on the screen. This comes from, I don't know how I do to pronounce this. I don't know how you say that, but tell me who you are and I'll try to remember. And it's from Twitch. And the question is, where does low ego action hero come from? So I came up with that when I was writing my book about 2 years ago, my Delta CX book. And it came from a lot of things that I had been seeing and reading at the time were accusing people who worked in UX of being high ego. That they said we were artsy fartsy hipsters and we were high ego ego, and that you don't want UX people at your company. They're high ego, and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I also saw a lot of things that tried to make it sound like, well, don't make waves, show up at a company to work there and just do your job and make stakeholders happy, make the boss happy, just do what they want, which of course makes us order takers and not problem finders and problem solvers. And so I don't totally remember where it came from, but it was a combination of, wait a minute, we are low ego. Great UX and CX practitioners are low ego, and great UX and CX practitioners should be action heroes. We shouldn't be order takers. I started with interface scientists as the opposite of order takers. And I'd also read something, and it's in my book, I'd also read something where some engineering group was like going to hold a meetup about how to take designers down a peg, because they're not the only ones who can design. And I just saw so much stuff when I was writing my book that had so much anger towards people. Oh, hi, Peaches. Good to see you. And I said, no, you know what? And there was another thing. Oh yeah, that the engineering one that wanted to take us down a peg said, we don't want UX rock stars. We don't want rock stars. And my thought was, every time someone has called me a rock star, it's been a compliment. Why are they trying to make it sound like an insult? So ultimately I said, we can be low ego. We should be low ego. Many of us are low ego, and we should be action heroes. We shouldn't be order takers, and we shouldn't be, and you know what? Being called a rock star is a compliment. Russell is here. Was low ego action hero born with amazing powers of humility? Yeah, it's funny. There's a few things I've had trouble finding a humble way to say, like, I live on an Italian island. There doesn't seem to be a humble way to say that. I think the low ego part is humble, and we talk about how we need humility in UX, and action hero maybe seems a little bit less humble, but now that I've been watching a lot of Marvel movies, and I think those action heroes often have some humility and a lot of humanness to them, I think you can be an action hero and be humble. I hope I have been at my jobs. Kayleen, I see your questions also. There's lots, and Dimitra, I see your questions too. Everybody's going to go on the list. Please remember, it is first come, first served, and eventually there will be more questions than I have time for in a single session, but I will do my best to take care of everyone as best as I can. So Dimitra, I'm going to get you on the list, and I think you were here in the scheme of things. Tybalt, hello Tybalt. All right, so moving on. Russell, I've set up a countdown timer for you since you get 15 seconds to be funny. So that is working. I could not get the overlays on Twitch to work, but that shouldn't stop everybody from putting up emotes and subscribing and doing fun things. I think if you subscribe, I should get an emoji explosion over my face, but we'll have to see. Let's see okay, so we've got a question here, and let me see where it came from. This is back in my, where's Denise? Oh, someone else said, this is Manish's question. Okay, Manish said, my question is, how important is it to come from a design background to be a UX designer? Actually, not important at all. Don't be thrown by the word design. That's why I'm fighting for us to shift towards architect. Not all of us come from artistic backgrounds, so don't worry if you don't have a design or an artistic background. In some cases that helps, and in some cases it doesn't. My background is music, and in university I was also pre-med, and then when I dumped pre-med, I took a bunch of psychology courses for fun, and those are what greatly influenced my path that ended up being UX. So I would say, please don't worry if you don't have a design background. People come into UX from all kinds of careers, and that is definitely not a barrier or an obstacle. It will make you interesting. Of course, you still have to learn the right things to be proficient. Do not live in building blocks universe. Make sure you are learning the science and technique of doing great CX and UX work correctly and with depth. But other than that, you can come from any background. So thank you for that. And Dimitra, I see your question It's on the list. I know you're probably a few minutes behind because you're on LinkedIn. Hey, everybody, please join Twitch. It's like a 7-second delay over there. It's a little bit closer to a conversation. If you're in YouTube, empathize with the like button. Of course, you can also join our free Slack workspace, and I do have the tip jar set up. Or, of course, over on Twitch, you can throw bits or subscribe to help support what I do, since I don't have any ads or sponsors or things like that. So thanks to everybody there. Jumping in and continuing with the questions. I think we have Denise's question now. Let me roll back and put that up on the screen. It says, hi, Denise. After working in a large company for a year now, has it really been a year, Denise? I saw there is a need to understand the point of view of stakeholders from different departments. What do you suggest for me on that? Yeah, so whenever we want to understand stakeholders and understand different departments, interview them, ask questions. It's one of the things we do best. Go in with an open mind, with no preconceived notions, no hypotheses, which is Greek for guessing, and just take a look at what who are these people? What do they expect? What are their goals? What are their strategies? What are their initiatives? What is their part of? What are they responsible for in their part of the business? What are they going to be held accountable for? What are they going to be in trouble for if it doesn't go well? And then learn how you can partner with them and what they might need from you, so that you can create the best possible outcomes for them. Now, that doesn't mean that you ignore customer needs. It doesn't mean you are an order taker for them. It just means you're going to take them into consideration and their needs when you are doing your research or your architecture or your interaction design, your testing, and making sure that when you're doing any reporting or presenting, that you are presenting things in the way that they need to hear it. Otherwise, they're going to feel like, she's not giving me what I need. So those are some of the things that I am suggesting. Let's see. We've got a question from Rich in LinkedIn. I will add you to the bottom of the list, but the list is growing very fast. We've got David in LinkedIn with a question. I am adding you to the bottom of the list. And we've got Charlene on Twitch. Friend and subscriber, and of course, future cook. We'll talk about the cooking thing in a few minutes. So thank you for that question. I hope that helps. And let's roll back to, let's see if I can find it. I've got a long list here. Ashu's question. Ciao, Ashu. Ashu from YouTube says, I'm sorry that the emotes aren't working, Charlene. Thank you for posting a picture of my dog, and it should be floating over my face, and I don't know why. So I will continue to work on this. I think I've spent 10 hours on it so far. I will keep working on it. So can you explain a research plan briefly? Ashu, I'll go you one better. We're going to do a live research plan on this channel together, I think in about 2 weeks. If you can please wait 2 weeks, that will be a much better mark your calendar for March 15th. We're going to do a live research plan as one of my micro lessons. So instead of me trying to explain research planning now, press pause on that if you don't mind, and mark your calendar for March 15th, 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Please translate that for wherever you are and look out for daylight savings time. And I will happily address that at length. We will build a research plan together, and then most of my streams for the month, for weeks after March 15th, will be, we are all going to walk through a fairly fake research project together, because I get a lot of requests here like, hey, your advice is great, but teach us how to do things. So we're going to do that. Thank you, Ashu. Next was smiley face. Let's see, who had the smiley face? Must be someone from LinkedIn, since I don't see it in my list. I can't put LinkedIn ones up on the screen. So it says, hi, Debbie. How do we forge ahead and attempt to do solid research when your team is insistent upon a lean approach with assumptions and validating via testing? You kind of don't. As you know, if you've seen some of my videos on lean UX and how terrible it is, and of course, if you haven't seen that, just go to YouTube and type in the search Delta CX Lean UX, and you will get a mountain of videos with me setting fire to things. Chris, I see you. I will add your question to the bottom of the list, but it is a long list. First come, first served, everybody. So it isn't great. So remember, the idea behind research, and especially generative research, is that we want to make sure that we are not starting a project with assumptions or guesses or hypotheses that are really fancy assumptions. And we want to do research first to understand our potential or target customers, to understand perhaps our market, to understand how we're doing. That could be more evaluative, to understand all these things. And the problem is that people who are doing lean UX are being told, and again, I wish I were making this up, but it's in the book. That's why I say lean UX is neither lean nor UX. They're being told to save time, just go with things you assume and just figure out later if those things were right. And I try to remind people that that is a huge amount of waste. That is wasted time, wasted money, wasted all kinds of things. Find episode, who remembers the number? Episode 48? In the live stream podcast is Lean UX is neither lean nor UX. See if you can show that to maybe your manager and some other people and see if they can shift out of that. The problem is that Safe Agile and Scrum.org think Lean UX is freaking God. And they push that on us without knowing that we don't believe in Lean UX. This is why I want to remind people, and I'll set it on fire again, Lean UX has a hold on all of us, whether we like it or not, because when we read the book and we hated the book, we said nothing. This is why I'm trying to light a fire under all of you to stand up more, speak out more. We didn't speak up against Lean UX. Now it's killing our jobs. We didn't speak up against design thinking when it was kind of bullshit and becoming more bullshitty. And now it's everywhere and people think it's a replacement for UX. So we really, really must be proactive. And when we see bullshit, call it out, speak up. Leave bad reviews for these books on Amazon. If you hate my book, leave a bad review. Leave bad reviews for these books on Amazon, because the Lean UX on Amazon is full of happy reviews from engineers who think it's the best way to control UX. So I don't have a good answer for you, because in lean and lean UX aren't the same thing. Lean, as defined by Toyota, which you'll see in my long version, is about predicting and cutting waste. It's very much connected to Six Sigma and making factories more efficient. Lean UX was modeled more after Lean Startup, which was just make something and guess and you'll figure it out later. Doesn't work. It's not working. Charlene said, love that Lean UX video. Eye-opener. Thank you. Let's see, Denise has a follow-up question. I'm going to have to put you at the end of the list, Denise, but hopefully we will get to you today, because there are so many questions that in the future we will have to figure out a way to deal with this. So let's see, next is person with bootcamp question. This was from LinkedIn, I think. This was, let me scroll back, Dimitra. Hi, Dimitra. Hi, Debbie. If someone is new to UX and they've just finished a UX bootcamp creating their portfolio, would you recommend that they take part in design sprints, or just redesigning a few screens from an existing app or website so that they have more projects on their portfolio, or is there anything else that would help? Any tips would be appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Dimitra. That is a question that I have actually answered a number of times in some other videos. So remember, peeps, it's great if you have a question for me. I'm happy to take them, but all of this stuff is archived on YouTube, and I'm releasing in 40 minutes, I will release 15 new videos in the Perspectives playlist. If you are not hip to the Perspectives playlist on YouTube, please check it out. Or if you ever have a question like this, like Dimitra, for example, you could go to my YouTube channel, which is Delta CX, and you could put in Delta CX Design Sprints. Just put it in the YouTube search. You'll probably come up with 14 videos from me. Some of them are 3 minutes long. A couple of them are over an hour long, with what I think of design sprints and why nobody should ever do them ever. Now, you're probably listening to me and thinking, wow, that sounds pretty serious. Why? Don't have time to tell you. Please find my other videos. That's why I'm filling the YouTube channel with content, both live stuff like this that gets archived on YouTube so you can find it later, and the perspectives videos and other things that I put up there so that all of your questions can be pre-answered. So ultimately, Dimitra, I do tell people, you can also check episode 54, which are some of my portfolio do's and don'ts. That will be in the live streamed podcasts playlist. A lot of these things are not UX. Design sprints are not UX, so I don't want to see them in a UX portfolio, only because I take UX seriously. Redesigning a few screens usually isn't UX. Redesigning a few screens is usually, here's what I like, or here's how I thought this could be better. But it rarely has user-centered design. Let's get the other thing out of there. It rarely has user-centered design. It rarely has research, information architecture, which we had a great show on yesterday. It's really just, where am I? It's just interaction design in a vacuum. That doesn't really tell me if you're great at UX. It just tells me if you were to guess at some screens, how's your guessing? So I do recommend against that, as I don't think that's as strong in a portfolio as either real work or really well done fake or sample work. And I also suggest getting a coach or mentor who can help lead you. Let's see what I'm missing in the chat other than everybody's putting fire emoji and they're not showing up on my face. I'm so sorry. I will test this more. Ashu says, I'll mark the date. Good. Shannon says, busy gal. Dora Winifred Reads has a question. Over on Twitch, I will add you to the bottom of the list. I apologize. It is a really long list today, but I'm so happy to help everybody. Ooh, am I overthinking? I didn't get, remember I copy and paste these and I put them in the YouTube description so you can see all the questions in order. Also, if you are on Twitch, remember to do exclamation point giveaway, where you can be entered this month to win a free coaching hour from me, usable anytime, usable as 2 half hours or 1 hour. So exclamation point giveaway will tell you more, or just do exclamation point ticket. You only have to enter once and I will draw a winner at the end of the month. And then you get some free time with me. Last month we did 2 free books and those shipped out today. So Jason and Shannon, your books are on the way. Last packages I sent took 2 months. I hope these will be better. Let's see. Twitch is super fun, y'all. Oh, good. Thank you, Dimitra. I hope you'll poke around lots of stuff that I have on there on YouTube. I think I have over 300 hours of content now. So chances are many of these questions are answered, though sometimes people's specific questions about things happening at their job are not. Oh my God. Anonymous questions are coming in and I am missing them. Okay, so anonymous questions. I am finding you. We have a sorry, I'm gonna have to put you on the end of the list. Anonymous question, and an anonymous question from He Who Shall Not Be Named. That's pretty creative. Let's see if I can find that one. He Who Shall Not Be Named. All right, He Who Shall Not Be Named, I see you. I'm gonna get your question on the end of the list. And I promise we will get to it today. So thanks to everybody for your patience. Some of you are going to have a long wait, but I don't think I have anything after this. So if we have to run late, yeah, I have nothing after this. So basically we will go until I answer all the questions, and eventually we'll have to figure out what do I do when I can't answer all the questions. So thank you. I wonder what this is. Abbiamo preso in carico la tua spedizione. BRT. I wonder what I'm getting. Sounds good. I don't know if it's my computer. Kids, I need the computer. That's part of why I think the stuff is, the emojis aren't showing up. Every time something happens, I get a memory error. All right, let's go back to questions. You've got questions. All right, let's roll back up. Boot camp, yes. Okay, as you know, oh, someone said as you know, which means I know them. Let's see if I can find your question. As you know. Okay, I don't know. I copied and pasted it. Now I don't know who said it. Ekening says, if you can't answer the questions, you could affinity map them and create mini videos. Oh my God. I already have 120 mini videos in perspectives, Ekening. Okay, as you know, I've been working on the research phase of my project before I get to the information architecture and visual design phase. What if someone has no portfolio but knows that they don't want to be a researcher? What should they do for their first portfolio project? So, oh, it's me, it's Kayleen. All right, so, okay, I have 2 minutes. I'm back. Too many chat messages showed up and I missed it. So great. So if you don't want to be a researcher, why are we doing so much research, you and me? That's a good question. But what I tell people is if you don't know what to do for your portfolio project and you really want to focus on information architecture and interaction design, maybe a little visual design, I still suggest working from some sort of good research data. Now, I don't have research data laying around that I can just send everybody. That's part of why we're going to be starting a big research project, even though it's kind of fake, here on the channel starting March 15th. And that way we're going to have some research data that we can play with, even though it's going to be semi-fake. And that way you could build something from there if you would like to. But ultimately, the problem is when people show me things in their portfolio that don't have research, that's okay. But when they start from, I'm just going to guess stuff, or this looks bad, and I did an evaluation of it and this looks bad, so I'm going to fix it. I always say it's nice if you have good ideas to fix these things, but if I don't see a really good UX process of some sort where you're using somebody else's research, and that doesn't mean I Googled it and I learned people are grumpy. I really mean good, qualitative, generative research that came from somebody, then otherwise it looks like you are just guessing. And some people might still hire you. They might say, hey, that guess looks pretty good. You look pretty good at guessing. But if you get in front of a me or a Darren or a Larry Marine or Dr. Nick, chances are we're going to be like, good guesses, but where's your process? You know, I want to see what you're going to do if you come and work for me. And if you come and work for me, I'm kind of not going to let you guess, at least not too much. Maggie has a question and we're going to have to put it at the end. Sorry, Maggie, but that is just the order of life. Probably going to need an assistant on these things with how much they are going. So Kayleen, I hope that helps. But since we have been working together, I would say contact me. But I think your research will go much. So I've been doing some coaching with Kayleen, who's on Twitch as Pasta La Masta. Yes, I think you'll be good at the research process. I think you're just going to need to scope it a little bit smaller because you keep coming up with good ideas of who you want to research with, but your project is getting very big. So I think especially for a fake project, let's narrow it down a little bit more because you just want the person looking through your portfolio to see, you can do this. You're good at this at a junior level. You've got science and technique. So let's focus there. Next was, I think this came from Denise, but now it's so long ago, I can't remember, and I've got 4 pages of stuff here, and I can't keep up. So Denise, I think it was, asked, what can I learn to get some business understanding? Or I would ask in a way, what are the things that overlap in UX and business? Well, that's tough. Sometimes it seems like we don't overlap. It seems like the business just wants to make money, and UX just wants customers to be happy. But really, there is an overlap there because if we make customers happy, the business should make money. So we have to figure out what do we need to learn about people and finding their problems and solving their problems so that the business makes money. Now that does mean that we have to talk to business people at our company a little bit more to learn what their strategies and goals and initiatives are, to learn some of the areas where they think they want the product to go and some that they think they don't. But you might do research that proves that they're wrong. So I think that in general, I try to remind people that Agile says we're supposed to be collecting feedback from users and customers, and we're supposed to use that to write requirements and make better products. So I think that the old way of asking a stakeholder or the business, what do you want? And then building that is going to have to change, because very often we're building something that someone dreamed of, but it's a giant pile of crap. So I think we're going to have to move towards using some of the techniques from Agile and make sure that we are doing research so that we know the right directions to go for our customers. Hey, Larry is here. Larry says, and see if I can get this on the screen because it's fresh. Larry says the overlap is often identified in the task analysis prioritization phase, where we share the research of unmet needs and how that might relate to business objectives. Yes, well said. We'll do that in our fake project coming up on this channel. Thank you. I think that was Denise. Okay, so we have a long question here, and it was Dora Winifred. So I'm trying to see if I can find you here and put you up on the screen, but my screens, too many screens. Here it is. I think this is you. And welcome, and thanks for asking, and I hope you will follow and maybe subscribe. I'm working, that's small, hope everyone can see it. I'm working on in a UX team that really loves data, but I'm not sure about the way they interpret it. For example, only 10% of people are doing X on mobile, not Exxon, the gas company, doing X on mobile, but 80% are doing it on desktop. How can we improve X on mobile to bring the usage closer to 80%? I feel like it's jumping to conclusions without enough understanding, but I also haven't been in UX for too long. Am I overthinking things? No, you freaking rule. You're totally right. And if you watch this channel long enough, you'll run into a story that I tell that sounds exactly like this. I was working at a very famous American company, and the product manager came to me and said, 27% of our mobile web users are not filtering their search results. So I got the budget to create a project to force them to filter their search results. And I said, well, hold on. Let's see if this makes any sense. Can you slice out that 27% and tell me, does the data show, are they complaining? Are they unhappy? Do they have more support tickets? Do they buy less from us? Do they buy less often? Do they spend less? Couldn't find anything. He just thought if only 27% of people did this, it must be bad. So I would say you are on the right track, Dora, if that's your name. And I would say definitely push against this a bit and challenge people to come up with more data that tells more of the story. If 10% of people are doing it on mobile, it might be because they have another way to accomplish it. It might be because they're accomplishing their task. Remember, we're very focused on this channel here on the customers and users task. If you can learn through research, what are people trying to do right here on desktop? What are they trying to do right here on mobile? And then learn through observing them. See old episode on observational research. Learn through observing them if they are accomplishing their tasks or what is standing in their way. Because if only 10% of people are doing something on mobile, that might not be a bad thing. That might be a good thing. My hypothesis for the 27% of mobile users that weren't filtering their search results was that they were probably stuffing their searches with extra keywords. Size, 8, blue, guess, jeans, skinny, whatever. Well, you don't need to filter. At that point, you've put in most of the words that would have been your filter. So I would say push back a little bit on that. We might need to talk more about it outside of this. I'm trying to go a little fast today because I have so many questions, but I hope this gives you an idea that you are not crazy. You're not overthinking this. Don't worry that you haven't been in UX for too long. Your critical thinking hat is working just fine. And I think you're on the right track. And it's just going to be a matter of how are you going to be able to stand up and push against this a little bit and maybe be able to spin up some research or call for additional data that says this is right or wrong. Because people say, oh, we should have more usage or more engagement. And I always say, well, which of our goals or strategies does that accomplish on the business side? And which tasks for our customer does that improve? And if the answer is, then let's not do it. I hope that helps. Dora says, thanks for the thorough response. So sure. Yep. Yeah, you're welcome. Next is, I'm going to let Larry answer the next question. Thank you, Anita. Sorry that I didn't get to, I think you had another question. Larry Marine, this next question is going to be for you. What is the difference between task models and task analysis? I'm going to give that one to Larry. And while we wait for Larry to answer, just a quick reminder that I am trying to get everybody over to Twitch, where it is definitely more fun. I'm going to have to go over there right now and see why my my fun emoji aren't floating up on the screen. Let's see if I can send an emoji up on the screen and what happens. Oh yeah, here it comes. Oh, there it went. It's working. You do have to be a subscriber to get emoji popping over my face. So I hope some people will subscribe. Larry Marine, waiting for your answer. It's not working for Charlene is a subscriber. I don't know why that's not coming up. I'm going to have to keep testing this. It was not working very well today. I am sorry. So we will have Larry answer that question. Hopefully he is still here. And yeah, people are sending up emoji and it's not coming up over my face, and it should be. I will have to keep testing that. Sorry, everybody. I promise we'll get there. We will have the full fun. Okay, let's answer this question. This was a great one, and we'll answer Larry. Hopefully Larry will answer when he hears this. Next question says, I feel most UX communities rally around the spirit of empathy under the banner of this false design thinking regime. Workshops, job qualifications, and interviews hype up on the importance of empathy and design thinking that I feel as a low ego action hero. I'm an imposter in my own UX community. How do I be myself and avoid being cast out without succumbing to their false gods? So I would say don't worry about being cast out, because if anybody's going to be cast out, I will be the first in line, because I've been setting fire to design thinking now for quite some time. So I would say you are in the right place. Let me see if I can find who wrote this. Whoever wrote this, you are in the right place and you have found your community. So thing one, welcome. I don't know where that went. I cannot find that now. Where is it? Oh, no, that's not David. I don't know where that went. Oh, Nick, Dr. Nick? Oh yeah, because I recognize your birthday. Hey, Dr. Nick. Okay, so yes, stick to your guns, says Dr. Nick, and he's right. Yes, I do think that a lot of design thinking is totally false. I do think that a lot of empathy is sometimes meaningless or misguided or not even empathy. So I would say, please just know that this whole community is here for you, and you will not be cast out, and please don't succumb to the false gods, because like every trend, they're going to come and it's going to go. And when the design thinking, lean UX, design sprints, trends all go, what's going to be left is user-centered design and human-centered design done with science and technique. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking about what you're talking about, and don't fall victim to it and start calling things design thinking when they're not, and don't call things empathy when they're not. I think you just have to stick to your guns there. Larry says, hard to answer in 200 characters. I know, I'm sorry about that, Larry. Larry says, I'm not an expert on task models. This may miss the mark. Task models give a high-level overview of a task, but task analysis is much more specific about the steps, knowledge, and tools that people use. Don't forget to go into the micro lessons playlist and look for the micro lesson on task analysis. That will have to be the answer there, but thank you, Larry. Let's see. And Elizabeth, I see your question. Elizabeth in YouTube. Let's copy and paste that and put you at the end. And thanks to everybody. And oh, my poor Twitch overlays. I am not getting all of the things. Let me set something off and see if I can test this. overlays, and then we'll get to a few more questions. So meanwhile, don't forget to follow on Twitch. We're going to be doing a lot more there in the coming forever. And let's see, Twitch, edit. Let's see what happens if I set off a fake subscription, if we get a whole bunch of fun stuff happening. Fake subscription. Okay. Okay, so I think part of why this is not working is as soon as that happens, my computer is getting a CPU overloaded message. So we're all just going to cross our fingers for new supercomputer to come in the next week or two, and then hopefully everything will work when I evidently have CPU to process this crazy crap. Chris says empathy as a first step in design thinking is well-intentioned but weak and misleading. Doesn't really say research, and many just exercise their feelings rather than research. Yep, I agree and beyond. You can find lots of stuff from me on this channel about that. So let's see, I think we're up to Maggie's question. And Maggie says, oh, see, now I've got fake, I've got to refresh this because now it thinks I have 2 million subscribers from all the fake stuff I've done. There we go. So yes, if you subscribe, I should get an emoji fountain. Yes, an emote fountain. Please do subscribe. Remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you can connect your Amazon Prime account to Twitch, and you get to support one Twitch streamer for free at the tier 1 subscription level, which unlocks some fun stuff. So if you've got Amazon Prime, hook them up and please subscribe. Okay, so Maggie's question was, I don't remember if you have any previous videos on this, but what would be the best way to structure your portfolio to show the type of work you want to do rather than what you've had to do for previous jobs? Neato question. Thank you, Maggie. My answer there, and I'm not sure if I have a video on this, is this has to go in the storytelling. So obviously in a portfolio case study, I like to say there's the process that you actually did for this project or this job, and then there is the storytelling around it, which is you explaining things and highlighting certain things and how you explain what you did and your process. Very often, especially at some jobs, we wish we had done a different process. We realize now that our process wasn't as strong as it could be. I think it's okay to have a portfolio case study that says, you know, at this job, we really didn't get a lot of time and budget to interview users. I was only able to interview 4 users. However, since we had 3 target audiences, and I know it's great to interview 8 people from each target audience if possible, I really should have interviewed 24 users. I think something like that is great because that tells me, hey, this person knows how this was supposed to be done. They probably know more of the science and technique rather than thinking, yeah, I just have to talk to a few users and I'm good. So I would say probably use your storytelling to talk about what you think you should have done or what you wish you'd done or how you would do it differently now. I think that's totally fine, and I think it can show depth and maturity because we can all look back at a past project and go, oh, yeah, I should have done that. I should have done that differently. And I know that's sometimes an interview question. Show me a portfolio piece, and then you do, and then they go, how would you do that differently now? It's a neat question, and it really makes you think about how your process could have been better. So sure, you could put that in your portfolio. Just make sure you're clear between what you actually did and what you should have done or wish you had done. Scott, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm so glad you're here. Scott says storytelling is huge in those case studies. It definitely is. And again, you can also utilize it for things like, here's what I should have done rather than here's what I did done. I hope that helps. I think that was Maggie's question. And now we've got, hey, there's an explosion. Shannon subscribed. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you so much for the subscription. And again, remember, Amazon Prime, way to go, costs you nothing. And let's see, we had a question that came from YouTube, so I should be able to put it on the screen. It was Elizabeth. Welcome, Elizabeth. And Elizabeth started by saying, I'm in the strange position of being a very junior UXer who needs to tell management that our project won't happen without a bigger team. and because you only get 220 characters on YouTube, she said, what strategies would you recommend to advocate for expanding the UX team? So again, that's hard because you're very junior, so I typically don't expect a junior to be very strategic, but I do think that you have a better chance at getting that if you can go to management with a plan. Now that's hard. You might say, I don't know how to plan a project or a department. This might be where having a mentor or coach outside of work can also help you. So I would say go to management with a plan based on what you're asking me to do. This is how much time I would need if it's only me. That's also hard. That fits into my strategy area. We can do our work with science and technique, but to me, strategy is how do I do the right things at the right time? What resources do I need? And how long is this going to take me? And how long would it take if other people were involved? If you are very junior to UX, I don't expect you to have a grip on that yet. That usually comes with years of experience. So again, see if a mentor or coach will help you write out this plan. So I would say, Kayleen says, Elizabeth's question is my worst nightmare. So I would say work with a mentor or coach to come up with a plan. If you wanted just me to do this, I would be researching for this many weeks to learn these things. I would be able to deliver these artifacts and documents. I would then have insights and opportunities for us to move forward. Then I'm going to need this time to do information architecture. See yesterday's show. Then I'm going to need this time to do interaction design, prototyping, and testing. I'm going to do cycles of that, so I'm going to need more time. But you know what? If we had additional people on the team, here's how that plan would change. Here's how that plan would become shorter or fit better into agile sprints or more efficient or whatever you think you can say to sell it. It's hard because people don't always, they think, oh, UX, that's just me spending money and I don't make it back. So you might want to go into YouTube and check some of my videos where I talk about the value of UX and how you do make it back. If you go into the micro lessons playlist, I think I have a conference talk in there called Dev and UX. It's a talk I give to engineers about why they need to work better with us because we're going to make their lives easier and save them a lot of waste. You might be able to get some cool things from that you can use to say, hey, better UX earlier, lots of time and money saved later where engineering isn't guessing, engineering doesn't have to rework it, we're not going to be surprised that customers hate it. So check that recording and see if that gives you some ideas of what to do. But ultimately, I would say work with a mentor or coach because I don't expect you to be able to plan on this level. You can certainly be part of it, but I wouldn't expect you to be able to do it alone. Larry has an idea here, but I can't tell yet if it's a joke. Larry says, create a Gantt chart with the fictitious team members to illustrate how much work needs to be done, what would come out of it, and finally how many people it will take. Yeah, definitely. Okay, he wasn't joking. Yeah, to me, that would be part of my plan. Larry has seen enough of my plans to know that when I start planning stuff, I also make a Gantt chart where I say, here's my pros of what my plan is. Now here's my Gantt chart, which is Gantt, my Gantt chart of how this plays out in calendar time or sprint weeks or however you want to look at it. And then people go, oh shit. And sometimes that can help. So let's see, and we've got some more questions. Where are they? Oh, okay, Chang's got a question, and let's see. Julia says, did anyone successfully subscribe with their linked Amazon account? I linked accounts, but I can't seem to subscribe without buying a token. No, you shouldn't have to buy a token. When you click subscribe, it should say, there's a purple button that says subscribe. Oh, someone subscribed. Was that Julia? Oh, it's Maggie. Ciao, Maggie. Ooh. I know that this is killing my CPU. Okay. I know that kills my CPU and slows down my stream. That's how, and I bought a gaming laptop, y'all, so I'm waiting for supercomputer. And Larry says, compare that to a Gantt chart of just you doing the work and it becomes obvious they need more of you. Yep, for sure. So Chang says, where do we find mentors and coaches organically? So I do mentoring and coaching, so I am a choice. Also, I just suggest that people reach out to people they admire. If there is a writer, speaker, YouTuber, LinkedIn poster, tweeter that you like, write to them and say, I'm looking for a mentor or coach. Do you do mentoring or coaching? The difference between mentoring and coaching to me is mentoring is free and coaching is paid. So you also have to decide if you have a budget. A bunch of perspectives videos are going live on YouTube in 5 minutes. I've timed them. And one of them is, what should your mentoring and coaching look like? So you might want to watch that one and get some ideas there. But I would say for organically, just go to people you trust and say, do you mentor? Do you coach? Some will say yes, some will say no, and some will say, I charge for that. And you can decide what works for you. Let's see. Thank you again to Maggie for the subscription. Check out our little bar on the bottom. We're up to 7 of my goal of 15. Julie wants to know if she pays for a subscription, do I get the money? Twitch gets 50%. That does seem like a lot. YouTube takes 30% of stuff, but Twitch does have a lot more cool features that I plan to grow into, so I'm willing to give it up to be here. Yes, that is how that works. So if you do Amazon Prime free subscription, I still get the money. If you do paid subscription, I still get the money, but it is half. Let's see. Elizabeth says, thank you. I have a mentor from an outside department who's helping me structure it, but she doesn't know UX. You'll hear from me soon. Super. I do give one coaching call for free, and then after that I charge people. Let me get that URL up on the screen so people know how to book free or paid coaching time with me. But it's a link that you could guess. It's deltacx.link, which is my URL shortener, so you can usually guess at that, /coaching. And that should get you there. Scott says, dang, you're on Twitch now. Yes, join us there. It is more funs. Charlene says, I know some people on ADP list. Whoa, Julia did it. I'm going to wait for these graphics. Like, I'm literally getting red lights flashing at me in my system. I should share my screen. I get CPU warning and I get slow stream warning. Like, that's how much my computer cannot handle Emoji Fountain. Thank you, Julia. Let me just, Elizabeth, before I answer your question, let me just check if I missed anybody's question. Did I miss anybody's question before? Because we're almost out of time and I want to make sure I got organic. I got that. I got Shannon. I joined a bunch of local meetups and I got a mentor that way. Can do. ADP list to talk to someone one-off doesn't sound organic. Well, you can start with ADP list, and if you like that person, you can see if you can continue with them and see if they can do it for free or charge. So I would say ADP list can be a place to start and see if you click with someone. And thank you to Julia for the subscription. And then Elizabeth has a question. And I'm seeing another explosion. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Oh, thank you, Julia. You did the paid subscription. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And if you can figure out Prime, we'll work on it. Resource, I see your question. We'll get to you after Elizabeth's follow-up question, which is on YouTube, which is why you don't see it. And remember, join on Twitch. We are deltacx.com. I couldn't get just DeltaCX. So deltacx.com, all written out, not the dot, D-O-T. Join on Twitch there. Please follow and subscribe. I have a goal of 15 subscribers. David says, you missed mine. Really? I thought I copied and pasted everybody's. All right, hold on. Let me roll back and get David, because that was way, way back many centuries ago. Rolling. I've got literally like 200 things here because my system aggregates. Here it is. Okay, thank you, David. I'm sorry about that. My system aggregates YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn, so sometimes the comments are just boom. So let's answer David's question. I apologize for missing it. It happens. I also forgot to look at anonymous questions, but luckily no one came in. Sorry, everybody. We got to find a better system here. Okay, David says, "Hi, Debbie. I'm transitioning to UX from an unrelated field and I'm working on case studies. The case studies I'm working on are both redesigns of existing software and new ideas. How important is the research and testing phases in these case studies? And if they are important, what advice do you have on how to approach these for someone with limited resources?" Okay, thank you again, David, for your patience. So I would say, yes, research and testing are important because without them, we are probably guessing. We're saying, gee, that doesn't look very good. I think it should be like this. Well, how do we know? We could accidentally be a high ego, possible action hero. So we have to figure, the question is, how can we be best informed without guessing, without assuming? Yes, there are times where we are stuck guessing at these and we do make software better and we do come up with good ideas, but especially when we want to show a good UX process with science and technique, then we do want to show research. Now, that research doesn't have to be your research. You don't have to be good at everything, but it should be somebody's qualitative research that shows we understand who our customers are, we understand what they need and expect from us, we understand what their tasks are, we understand where they have workarounds and pain points and problems, and that's how I know how to make this better. Without that, we run the risk that you are just guessing. And again, your guesses might be good, but especially for a portfolio case study, we've got to do more than guessing. So I would say these are important. If you have limited resources, it might be hard to do on this project, or you might have to do kind of smaller guerrilla versions of them. But the research and testing phases are important. When a company doesn't let me research, I at least fight for testing, because that at least gives me a way to see where my guesses went wrong. Okay, I'll guess at this stuff, but then we have to take it to proper user and usability testing with real or archetypal users and customers so I can see where this can be improved. Otherwise, you are guessing, you're putting it out there, and you're saying, good luck, everybody, I guessed at this, hope you like it. So you definitely want to at least fight for the testing and hopefully a few rounds of it so you can find where your guesses and ideas didn't go quite right, and you can improve upon them, test again, before unleashing that on the public. It will be better for the public if this is a real project, and it will be better for your work and your case study. I hope that helps. Let's roll back. Elizabeth had asked, what's your general thoughts on the caliber of mentors on places like ADP List? This is actually a perspectives video, and my answer is research them on LinkedIn. I've been quite surprised to see that some people on ADP List have a year in UX. Sometimes less, certainly sometimes more. But you want to learn UX from an expert and a veteran, someone who's been doing it for years. I tend to recommend at least 4, 5, 6 years for mentoring, unless the topic of mentoring is how to find your first job. Then whoever found their first job can try to give you some tips because they did it. But if you really want to be learning about how UX is done with science and technique, and especially in corporate or agency or government environments, you are looking for the mentor or coach who has been doing this for years. The person with 1 year of experience might be friendly and wonderful and supportive, but they might not be able to give you tough love and really help you level up because they are still leveling up themselves. Now, we're always all leveling up. I'm still learning too. But again, there is a difference between the person with 1 year of experience and the person with 5 or more. So that's my suggestion there. Maggie says, do your proper research before committing to a mentor. Yes, research. Now we've got a question from Resource. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Resource, who looks like Patrick says, hi, Debbie. A question, if there is still time. For you, yes. How do you plan a redesign project where the system or industry is too complex for you to understand? How do you go about it? You do have to start learning about that industry. Very often I have to become a mini domain micro expert of each new project I'm on, whatever that was. I was once on a project that was like HIV testing for gay men in San Francisco. Had to learn about that. Do a project for an online e-commerce system. Have to learn their e-commerce system and who their audiences. So you will have to take some time to become a little bit of knowledgeable in it. You're not going to get away with not knowing about this industry. If it's complex, start watching YouTube videos, start interviewing people you work with. Just say, hey, I'm the UX person. I don't have a background in this, but I want to make sure I really learn about it and incorporate your expertise and knowledge. This is where you go to subject matter experts. Watch the YouTube videos, learn about the domain, and ask people questions, because not all YouTube videos are good. So I would say you do have to go about it. Charlene said, I missed a question from her, but she can ask on Slack. Okay, sorry about that. I wish y'all could see my questions list. It's just wild. I have to do something about this. Hexagon is a good community for those who identify as women or non-binary. You can find a mentor there as well. Great. Hexagon sounds interesting. I haven't checked into it myself, but if you are a woman or non-binary, that could be super. Elizabeth says, thank you for all your help. I've seen a few of your videos, but your knowledge has been invaluable. Thank you so much. Join on Twitch. Larry says, testing an existing design assumes that the initial design is solving the right problem. It likely is not. This is something we hear from Larry a lot, so everybody listen again. Let's put it up on the screen. If you don't research to redefine the problem, you put lipstick on a pig. Too often true. David says, thank you. Thank you, David. Sorry again about that. Wilson says, that's what I tell people every time they look for a mentor on there. I remember reading someone complaining about it on LinkedIn, getting her profile reviewed because she had 25 mentors with conflicting feedback. I saw that one too. That was a little weird. 25 mentors with conflicting feedback. Pick one or two and go with that. And Larry also says, break complex systems into smaller parts. Thank you, Larry. Anurag is here. I will go with Anurag as our last question. So, and then let's also check something quickly on Twitch. Hold on, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Let's see. Salt. The Salt. No, the Salt is not streaming. I figured we'd raid him. That's a thing on Twitch, everybody. And it's kind of neat. Okay. So we've got a question from Anurag, who says, how are you? Not going to answer that. No time. I'm reading a book on making ideas stick. Made to stick. As a UX designer, my natural question is, what parts of UX design make any product stick in the mind of customers? Well, there's a lot of things that go into that. There's going to be the content. So that would be, what did we write? What images or media did we show? There's going to be visual design and accessibility. What colors did we use and fonts and things like that? There's going to be our information architecture. Was this meaningful, actionable, helpful? Was this easy to learn and use? Did this play into who I am and how I organize and see things and my models, or did this not take that into consideration, or did it go against that? And of course, there's the interaction design, which is how we decide how things will lay out and work. So really, it's everybody. It's not everybody, it's everything. Everything plays into what is going to make a product work for customers, not work for customers, stick in their mind in a good way, stick in their mind in a bad way. Hey, cafecito, we got an emoji working. But now I have everything blinking, CPU overload and whatever. That's probably why I'm not getting them. Let's wait for supercomputer. So I would say it's everything. And Larry says finding those things that are relevant to the user and their objective. Right. So anything that is meaningful and relevant to users will stick in their mind as good or bad. We mostly think about the bad. If I said, can you think about a bad experience you had recently in a website or app? You can probably give me 10 very quickly. But we don't often have great experiences. They're still very rare. And that's how I know design thinking, lean UX, and design sprints are not working, because holy crap, everything is crap. Chang says, request Larry to be a full-time guest co-host. Yeah, he's going to do an office hours with me later this month. I am very honored, so you will get to see him again soon. Cafecito says, my intro music is too mellow. It needs to be more hero-like. I will work on that. I'm waiting to have a budget. That was music I happen to have for free because an old friend made it. So I'm trying to use music I have the rights to. So I hope that helps. And we're technically out of time and we're over time. So I'm going to have to stop for now and thank everybody for another wonderful Office Hours Ask Me Anything. We kind of just made it in an hour and 10 minutes. I apologize that more emojis and stuff are not coming up on the screen, but I think it's just overwhelming my computer. A gaming laptop with 16 gigs of RAM that I bought 2 years ago. So we'll just have to wait for supercomputer, which I hope will be here in about 2 weeks, and then hopefully I won't get these sad CPU messages anymore, or my streaming thing blinking saying it's slowing down. Crap is the nice version. So true. Hopefully we'll have more emotes and stuff working. The good news is when we get 15 subscribers, I can make more fun emotes for you guys. Twitch is heavily gamified, both to you and to me as well as the creator. So I have to unlock all these things to give them to all of you. So hopefully we'll get more subscribers. And remember, you can subscribe on Twitch for free with Amazon Prime, or you can pay $5 American dollars a month for it, and I get half, and I use that to buy delicious cheese. Good night, Chang. Thanks for hanging out. Good night, Maggie. And thank you, Charlene, for the #1 symbol, even though it didn't float past my face. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up, but let me tell you quickly what's coming soon. Good night, Kayleen. This is like the end of the Waltons. Tomorrow, Dr. Seth Finkel is going to be here, and he is going to be talking to us about people-pleasing versus self-advocacy. We'll talk about burnout as well, so please join for that. Monday, March 8th, we're going to have Julia DeBari on. She's been an instructor at 7 boot camps, so we're going to watch the sausage being made. Thank you, Chang, for more bits. It's not coming up on the screen, but thank you so much for throwing the bits my way. That's a Twitch thing, everybody. Tuesday the 9th, Office Hours Ask Me Anything. Wednesday the 10th, no stream. That's going to be the Slack monthly video networking. So make sure you've joined Slack, which is free, so you can hang out with us. And let's see, March 15th starts our month of trying to do some real stuff together so I can give you more how-to real lessons. It's going to be a month of micro lessons plus office hours. So office hours will always be the same, but with some special guests like Dr. Nick, Darren, Steve Portugal, and Larry Marine. Thank you, Rocio. But March 15th starts the adventure. You can check it out by going to deltacx.link/events, plural. That will give you the Google Calendar, and you can see what we have planned. But we're going to start with planning research. Then we're going to do real observational research where you can practice your note taking. Then we're going to work on synthesizing that research and turning it into something. And we're just going to go from there, and we're going to stab at it together, and I'll show you how I do things. Again, it might be different from how other people do it, but I will show you how I do it. And Kayleen says, good night, Diana. Diana is in the pen, but her mom, Olivia, lives in the house with us. So I will tell Diana tomorrow when I see her. So you can always follow my dogs on Instagram, Canetti Perfetti, CANETTI. Perfetti. dogs on Instagram, including the super Deanna. Low ego action hero she is in her vest. Deanna is cute. Yes, thank you. They all are. They're all related to each other and they're very cute. People pleasing one is tomorrow, so I hope everybody will be there. So on that note, I'm going to apologize that some of the stream overlay stuff is just not ready for prime time yet and killing my system, but I will keep working on it and hopefully have something in the next week or two when Supercomputer gets here. So on that note, let me find the music and play us out of here. And thanks again to our new subscribers and everybody who joined live from all necks of the woods. And Scott, I'm happy to see you back here, and hopefully we will see more of you, and hopefully you're not drowning in work. Be safe, everybody, and see you tomorrow.
Delta CX, available for CX and UX consulting, projects, and training. Contact us for a free consultation.